What's good in the web? This is your boy Q the Geek with some gaming history. We digging through the archives today to talk about quite possibly the greatest home console ever made, and my personal favorite, the Super Nintendo. Last week was the Super Nintendo's 25th anniversary, and it's got me sitting here thinking about how time flies. I remember I was 9 years old when I first seen the Super Nintendo commercial, and I had to have it. I didn't get my hands on my own system until my birthday in '93, but I still remember the excitement I had opening the box and popping in Mario All-Stars and Tiny Toon Adventures Buster Bust Loose. I used to love Tiny Toons. What made the Super Nintendo so great for me, and probably everybody else who likes the system, was the games. Pretty much whatever type of game you wanted to play, the Super Nintendo had it. From racing to platformers, sports, and my personal favorites, RPGs. But before I jump into that, let's do a quick recap on the history of Super Nintendo. The Super Nintendo launched in Japan on November 21st in 1990, and in North America on August 23rd, 1991. And it was an instant success, selling out its initial 300,000 shipment units in a matter of hours. Despite a late entry to the 16-bit era and the arrival of the Sonic the Hedgehog, the Super Nintendo will go on to become the best-selling home console during the 16-bit console war era, beating out the Sega Genesis and the TurboGrafx-16. Not only was the Super Nintendo more than double the power of the regular Nintendo, the Super Nintendo used a variety of enhanced chips that were integrated into the game circuit boards, and used Sony's audio chips, the SMP, which allowed the system to better use sound effects like wind, echoes, audio filtering, and voice panning on certain games. One of the Super Nintendo's key selling points was the use of Mode 7, a graphics mode that allowed background layers to be rotated and scaled to create artificial 3D effects in 2D environments. Many games like Mario Kart, F-Zero, Pilot Wings, Turtles in Time, Secret of Mana, Super Castlevania 4 used these features. In the spring of 1993, the Super Nintendo debuted the Super FX chip. The Super FX chip is probably best known from its use in Star Fox, which used the chip for polygon rendering. Games like Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island used the FX chip to create sprite scaling and stretching that allowed characters to take up the entire screen, as well as using multiple foreground and background layers to create a greater illusion of depth. The Super FX chip was added to other select Super Nintendo cartridges like Doom and Stunt Racer FX, allowing 3D polygon rendering and advanced 2D effects. Much of, if not all of the Super Nintendo's success can be credited to the games, with its massive own IPs and huge variety of third-party support. And at the end of its lifespan, the Super Nintendo had a total of 1,712 games and has some of the best games of all time in its library. Games like Super Metroid, Star Fox, Street Fighter II, Mario Kart, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Super Castlevania 4, Tales of Fantasia, Super Mario World, and Super Mario All-Stars, Super Mario RPG, the Donkey Kong Country series, Mega Man X, Kirby, Superstar, Uniracers, Star Ocean, Earthworm Jim, F-Zero, Mortal Kombat, Rare's Killer Instinct, Contra 3, and as you may have guessed, my favorite game, Chrono Trigger. I can't overemphasize the impact that this game, Chrono Trigger, had not only on the way that I view games, but how it changed my life. Chrono Trigger was the first game I played all day and night for weeks. I remember just having a taste of this gaming excellence, and after that I couldn't go back. I was used to playing platformers and your basic action games or sports games like NBA Jam from time to time, which Super Nintendo had a lot of variety of those as well, even though Sega monopolized more of the mature rated and sports games titles. But once I played Chrono Trigger, and was able to see the story within a game. It was like you were reading or playing an interactive book. It changed my way of playing video games from 1995 all the way into present day in 2016. After that, I went on to play Lufia and Lufia 2, Secret of Mana, even the emulated version of Star Ocean, Final Fantasy VI, and Nintendo's own Earthbound with the Scratch and Sniff book. Along with its massive games library, the Super Nintendo added 2 shoulder buttons, an X and a Y button to its controller, a design that is still used by many companies to date, like Sony's PlayStation, Microsoft's Xbox, and we still wonder why Nintendo is hush-hush about a lot of the things that they're doing. The Super Scope 6, which was a bazooka that acted much like the NES Zapper, the Super Game Boy, which was a cartridge that was placed into your system, allowing you to play Game Boy and Game Boy Color games on the big screen. A multi-tap extension for 4-player games like Bomberman, or like with Secret of Mana, which was one of the first RPGs that allowed multiplayers. Mario Paint, and an unreleased CD port that would later become the design concept for the original PlayStation. The Super Nintendo's approach to core gaming has been lost somewhere nowadays, with the flux of graphics, and more graphics, and DLC. My hope, my wish, my prayers is that Nintendo stays true to their word with their new system and take a look back at what worked for them with the Super Nintendo and try to do their best to not only cater to the casual fans, but give that core gaming essence where we feel that we're not just playing a game, but we're in a game. But this has been your boy Q, your friendly neighborhood Negro. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to stay up on all things geek. Peace.